Hello out there. Let's check. Let's check and make sure we are. We are. We are. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name's Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, thrift stores, garage sales, and similar places, and try to make a few extra bucks online. Uh, had a okay weekend, good weekend sales, and an okay weekend finding stuff. I hit like one estate sale, came away with a box full of stuff, and we'll talk about it. Nothing. I don't think anything to blow the. It's mostly bread and butter stuff. Nothing to blow the doors down. But that's how you make. That's how you do it in this business. Is you grab what you can, give nothing back. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So sales, 11 sales over the weekend, which is pretty good for me. I think my average, I've been doing this past month has been really good. And my average sale, I'd probably do about two sales a day, particularly if I'm listing regularly. Actually, I saw somebody run the numbers, and I have between 250 and 300 listings, and and when it's mostly books, you tend to put in your pocket between $300 and $500 a month. That's profit after shipping, after all the hoopla. That's about what I do. Two sales a day, give or take. But May was a really good month. I think I may be putting more than 500 in the pocket. And I'm doing a couple things to kind of not ramp up, but a couple extra things like on Facebook Marketplace. And I'll actually talk about that if I have a couple of examples handy. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So good morning, and let's jump into it. Okay, first sale. We're gonna talk about this one. Yeah. Okay. Michael Moorcock's Silver Warriors. Michael Moorcock books. There's a handful of his that sell well. I think it's the Eternal Warrior series. These do decently. This went for $7, but I light his stuff up decently, particularly when it's the Eternal Warrior, and his the older the better when you have his books. So got this from I think a Friends of the Library book sale locally, which believe I'm now in the black with every book I sell from that. So which is pretty good. So that's profit. All right, next up is a couple of bread and butter items. Yeah, we'll talk about those. A couple of bread and butter items. We'll go another paperback because it was on top. This Spider-Man Sinister Six combo paperback. This went for $9, and these the books from the Spider-Man. I don't know if you recognize the logo or not, but this is kind of related, I think, to the Spider-Man cartoon series from the 90s. But the 90s Spider-Man paperbacks are worth looking up, particularly if you can get them for $1 or less, because you're going to make money on some of them, and some of them are worth a little bit. So grab those. All right, next up, these are my bread and butter items, like really like consistent sellers. First off, Baptist Hymnal, 1975 edition. If you're Baptist, you recognize this. You know the smell, you know the feel. So these sell regularly. This one went for $15. I regularly sell Baptist hymnal, the 75 edition Baptist hymnals in that range. Hymnals are I've kind of come down to they're like used to grab every hymnal I see. I do that now when they're $1 or less because I'll lot them up or do something like that. But every Baptist hymnal, and there's a couple other hymnals that sell decently. I grab without blinking at $2 or less. Baptist hymnals are one of them. They're just good finds. The great thing about hymnals are they're sturdy, they're well bound because they get used a lot, and so and you rarely find one with marking other unless you find the church name embossed on it or something written on the inside cover. They're usually clean. There's usually no tears. They hold up well, so they're pretty good to flip. So grab Baptist hymnals when you see them. Next up is something you also need to grab when you see, and that is special Bibles. This is a New King James giant print center column reference edition. 19. This is from 1994. This is good and clean, a little bit of cover wear, but it has some of the things that you want to see when you're flipping Bibles. It is whenever you find the Bible to resell. Sometimes maybe if they're old but without anything on them and they're clean, you want a clean Bible. This I actually remarked about it. This has, I think, a writing on the inside. No, it doesn't. This one's clean. Okay. I got a similar something recently that has some writing on the inside front cover. And that is sometimes okay. But you want a Bible that's clean with no highlights. And it has something particular. Giant print. Reference. Like in the middle columns. Something that's just beyond a Bible with words. And people like to grab them. Always make sure whether or not the words of Christ are in red. And I would say open whenever you're taking a picture of your Bibles, open it up and take a picture, preferably somewhere in the Gospels. I tend to pick John 3 and make sure take a picture of the page with John 3:16 on it. That's sort of a me thing, but I think it's also practical because those are words that are in red and people can see it and they're familiar with. Okay, this is what this Bible looks like. So it's one of the more John 3:16 is one of the more familiar verses to most Christians, and so when you see it as when you display it for when you're selling a Bible, I think it's really useful. So anyway, that's my take on that. So anyway, all right. Next up, these aren't so. I was wondering if these were going to sell or not. Fantastic Four. I got a big box of these of this era graphic novel trade paperback stuff, and there were a handful that were worth a little bit. So this one went for $6, and I think I sold an Electra one last week for $8, something like that. But they've also been sitting a little bit, so they're not meant. They're okay though. But I also grab them because my kids read them. So always good to grab. Oh, we're going to take some coffee on that. Okay. More stuff to go. Trying to decide what I want to grab next. All right. Next up, hats. Hats are great, particularly when they resell. This is a Mossberg shotgun strap back camo hat. Hats with gun companies on them are good grabs. And I think I may have gotten this out of the Last Chance Goodwill, which meant I paid like $1 for it, and this sold for 15. So I'll be on the lookout. One of the hats to grab, gun companies. So there you go. We're just gonna grab stuff now. Next up. Oh, this bad boy. He's like, that's a beat up book. Shop manual. Well, that's the important thing. Shop manual. This is an 84 Chevy truck shop manual. This is the Chevrolet shop manual, not like the Chilton or the Haynes books, but the ones whenever you see manufacturer shop manuals, grab them. This went for $36 in this condition. Now it's clean. It wasn't marked in. And binding's still good, but they generally still are pretty sturdy books. This one just has a worn cover, and it went for $36. So these things were going really good condition. Ones were going for 50, but these things, finding these in anything but worn condition is pretty hard. But these are the ones you want to grab to flip because I've rarely sold a factory manual for less than $20. And sometimes significantly more. All right. think we got a couple more things. All right. Got this bag. And I'm not going to open it up. But this is a Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes. Actually, I'll crack it open. Display. And there's about 20 figures in it. This went for 20 bucks. Which what I did was I pulled a couple out of it and sold those. There were like two $20 figures in here. The rest of these are like $2 to $3 figures. So I lined them up, put them in here, and we'll get it out. And actually, that at 20 bucks, that's probably not going to make a ton. That'll ship between 10 and 15 bucks depending on where it's going. But that's not going to be a ton of money. But I've kind of made my money on it, so that's fine too. All right, and one of the things that was in there, and this isn't a Disney Infinity, this is something else. This is a Zelda. This is a Nintendo Amiibo Zelda figure, Super Smash Brothers Zelda figure, and this one for 15. So this was in there. This was a neat find. So that's why when you see a collection of something like that, usually Goodwill doesn't look through them. So if there's a rare in it, if there's something valuable in it, it's not going to get pulled if it's not boxed. So there were 3 figures in there that were worth putting individually, 3 or 4 figures. So I pulled those, and this was one of them. Finally, Model Rockets, 2 of them. Sold both of these to the same lady, and so one for 10 bucks, one for $6.50 plus shipping. I actually charge shipping on these instead of doing free shipping. I got a bundle of these at a local thrift store, so that's the new in package for like this one says $4, but I know I got it cheaper. I think this one I may have gotten for $3. So because I knew they would flip, pretty good sellers on that stuff. I love finding new old stock basically because it tends to do well on different stuff. Okay, handful of finds that we're going to talk about. Hit an estate sale last week on Friday and snagged knee braces. Like a couple of unused knee braces, like a neck brace. So something happened to somebody. And a couple of ankle braces. So, and these are all $20, $30, $40 items, I think. And I got them inexpensively, and so that'll be a pretty good fast flip. Let's see. I usually don't do this. This was a Goodwill find, but it was inexpensive enough, and I'm going to take a little bit of a chance on it. And these are restaurant ware plates from this Corningware restaurant ware plates. I actually was having trouble looking these up in the store. So I'm wondering if these aren't a little bit older. So this is going to be interesting. I don't do a lot of dishes because bad things happen, and bad things may happen there if I'm not careful. I got to be super careful. You got to like double wrap everything and like throw it at the wall and hope it doesn't break the wall and hope it doesn't break the dishes. And so all that sort of stuff. And finally, not finally. Things aren't stacked well here. All right. Couple of vintage yearbooks from the 70s from South Georgia. Yearbooks are a major hit and miss. I grabbed a bundle at a garage sale not too long ago, and 2 sold like almost overnight, and the rest have been sitting there. I got these for $1 a piece, which is about what you want to pay for them because they're yearbooks are long tail items. But when they sell, they go for 20 to 30 bucks. It's not so much a pricing issue as it is a demand issue. Because when somebody sees it and they want it and need it, they're kind of willing to pay the price for it. And that price tends to be somewhere between 20 and $40. Now, I do think I haven't come across one. I am curious. I would like to find one with a celebrity in it, and see how something like that may work. I think the most famous person I found in one. I've got one, two, three, four, five. I've got like 8 yearbooks, and the most famous person in one of them. There may be a politician in one of them, and like a senator, and then there's like one guy who played Major League Baseball in one of them, and that was it. It wasn't like a all-star Hall of Famer. I think there was just a guy who made the big leagues. So, um, which actually may not be that hard if you've got 8 yearbooks. You may actually find a Major League Baseball player. I think finding a football player football or basketball would be harder, but the Major League rosters are so big that finding a baseball player actually may not be too hard. All right. All right. Next, this I was talking about Bibles. Student. This is a Zondervan NIV large print student Bible. Didn't even look it up. The cover was the nice leather cover, no markings, clean. So this one should sell $30 range, I'm guessing. And finally, for those of you 90s fans, Buster Bunny. I got this at that estate sale where I got the knee braces with tags. So I liked this show when I was a kid, and it was neat to find like, ooh, that's Buster Bunny. Ooh, this is probably $20 to $30 plushie with the tags and stuff. It was clean, excellent condition. So this was a really fun find. Actually, you might go on display. I think he's gonna go back there. He's gonna go right there. And he'll have some fun. Because we're tiny, we're toony. We resellers are all a little loony. And with that, hope you find some stuff. Hope you sold some stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll chat y'all next time on Coffee and Resale.